Welcome back to the weekend wrap, and this is probably going to be a long one, so buckle up. It's been a very long night. It's been an incredibly long weekend because we have to mention the DAZN card that took place in Australia, the early hours of Saturday morning for us here in the UK, and the extremely early hours of the morning for those in the US. So let me start with the positives. I predicted 14 fights over the weekend, and my record was 11-3. So plus, the Australia card, I didn't know anyone on that card except for the top three. So Liam Farrell, Brock Jarvis, Sky Nicholson, and Dempsey McKean. So I knew those lot. Outside of that, didn't know any of the others, and I got all of those right except for the Tapia versus Mayweather/Sacco fight. I mean, if I had known dude was going to be changing his name midway through, I might have had to do a bit more research, but I done it straight on vibes. I went with the guy I like the look of more, and yeah, he didn't win, but it was a very good performance. That was a great fight. So if you haven't seen the Tapia versus Sacco fight on DAZN, watch that. That was a good effort. Shout outs to Liam Farrell, done the job on Brock Jarvis in 1 round. I didn't predict that. I don't think anyone predicted the first round knockout, but you know, he did what he had to do, showed why there's weight classes, and you know, you can't just be an 8 division contender. You know, Pacquiao's the only one that's been able to do that successfully thus far. There probably ain't a lot that are going to be able to do that moving forward. But also respect to Brock Jarvis, he'll be back. If he goes back down to 135, I'm sure he'll be fine. Even at 140, if he decides he wants to grow into it a little bit, have a couple, you know, come back, give me fights, all good, no complaints. Now, the bulk of this is probably going to be talked about via the women's card at the O2. So first things first, I'm going to start at the end. I'll work my way back. Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. I got to give a big congratulations to Claressa. I was not predicting her to win the fight. I didn't think she was going to get knocked out like a lot of people did, but there were times in the past I thought that might have been the case. I just more thought that she would get stuck on the end of Savannah's jab for quite a bit of the fight, have to step into the kill box, get hit with some stuff, maybe feel the power and decide, all right, I don't just want to be sitting here trading and potentially, you know, take some damage I don't need to take. And I did think that she would get dropped at one point in the fight. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that she'd survive the fight, and I thought that she would, like, you know, probably lose on a close decision. But I thought that she would get dropped maybe once or twice, which would lead to her essentially losing the fight. Didn't happen. To be fair, she dogged Savannah. Now, I would need to address while I was actually there. So I was behind Claressa's corner. So I was behind the red corner. My vantage point. So there was a lot of times where things were happening right in that space where I couldn't actually see 100% what was going on. So I saw Savannah looking like she was a lot busier, but there were times I did miss certain things that Claressa was doing in there, and I hold my hands up. I missed it because it was so faint, or it was just in that point where I just can't see it. So let me tell you what my original scorecard was. I'm gonna be totally transparent. When I was there, I had Claressa winning the first round, had Savannah winning the second, had Savannah winning the third, had Claressa winning the fourth. I had Savannah winning the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh, had Claressa winning the eighth, had Savannah winning the ninth, and had Claressa winning the 10th. So I actually had it 94-96 to Savannah Marshall. A lot of that was due to, I guess, landing stuff, whether it wasn't effective. It was effective. It wasn't hard. It wasn't like meaningful shots. She wasn't really landing like the meaningful shots, but she was like just landing and just being busier, backing Claressa up onto the ropes, like, you know, leaning on her, pushing her against the ropes, essentially like just dominating the space. And I gave her a lot of credit for that in the moment. Seeing it back on the TV, it was my scorecard changed a little bit. It did. Not by as much as some people would think. Like, some people had it as like a, you know, almost like Claressa Shields dog walked her throughout the fight. I disagree personally. It was a very competitive fight. Claressa did she started off very swift in the first rounds. So let me tell you how my scorecard changed. So first round to Claressa, still gave the second round to Savannah, although it was a lot closer for me to decide to do that. But I still feel that it was that main hard punch that she threw at the start, which I felt edged it, because they both did work after that. So I felt like that was the most meaningful and telling shot in that round. The third round was a swing. So I'll let you guys decide who you want to swing it to. Fine. Fourth round, Claressa again. Now, the fifth round, whereas I gave it to Savannah last time, I actually scored it even when I watched it again, because Savannah did a lot of good body work and put a good amount of pressure on Claressa. Backed her up again, was staying on her and was landing the heavier telling shots. But Claressa was also landing a good few amounts of shots herself and was proving that this isn't going to be an easy fight for you. So I gave it even. But if someone told me you can't have even rounds, I would actually now edge it to Claressa, just because her activity and volume was slightly more. Savannah may have landed the harder ones and maybe twos, but Claressa was she was threes, fours, and she was still in the fight and competitive at the time. So I'll leave that up to you whether I get away with it even or if it has to go to Claressa. But round 6 and 7 stayed with Savannah. Round 8 I did give to Claressa. Round 9 did give to Savannah, and round 10 I gave back to Claressa. So my scorecard essentially, with the swing round, you would either had it 96-95 to Claressa or 95-96 to Savannah, if you decided that, whoever that you just put that swing round to. If we weren't allowed the even round in the fifth, then it would have either been 96-94 to Claressa or 95-95 a draw, depending on who you gave the swing round to. That's my opinion. I've watched it back 3 times now, admittedly through slightly tired eyes, but I made a point to watch it 3 times just to, for the purpose of this vid. But like I said, I didn't have a complaint with the winner on the night. Obviously it hurts a little bit pride wise when I really thought Savannah would do this, not off of any British bias, anything like that. It was just, I thought she would be victorious. I just thought that she had too many different tools at the same time that Claressa hasn't had to deal with. But Claressa's speed and her doggedness and her combos got her through this, and her heart, that she was truly grit and determination, and that sometimes delusional mentality she has really worked for her. And I have to credit her with that. And I even said a lot of the later rounds Claressa wasn't doing much. Savannah was working quite a bit and sort of trying to find angles, but Claressa might dig a quick shot to the body here or there, but then she would come back right at the end of the round, last sort of 30 to 20 seconds, and just unload and catch Savannah with stuff and make Savannah have to slip and ride and roll, and it just looks like Claressa's basically been the more effective. And that's ring IQ, that's generalship. So congrats to her, no complaints. I mean, it's still hard to call her quote unquote the GOAT, but that's only due to the fact of where she's competing at. In terms of talent, she definitely is top 2 in the world without question. I still kind of have Katie Taylor above her, only because Katie Taylor's had a harder gene pool of opponents to have to go through. But 3 weight classes, 3 times undisputed. I mean, there's not that, if someone wanted to say she's now number 1, I can't be bothered to have an argument with you. Like, it wouldn't really be a fruitful situation. So again, congrats to Claressa. She done her thing, and she proved all the doubters wrong. She proved the haters wrong, and she even turned the crowd around. She had a true Rocky 4 moment when he went to Russia and they all booed him. At the end of the fight, they was all cheering his name. They was all cheering for Claressa in the arena after she won, and big ups to her. Congrats. Now, Mikaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgardner. Now, this one has been really, really sticky online thus far. So, again, full disclosure, from where I was sitting, I never want to sit in that section again, because being at the angle I was at, clearly I missed certain things. But maybe I also didn't, because according to some people's cards, I had a very similar card to some people that was watching it on TV, that I was watching in the arena initially. So I'm gonna tell you again, this is how I had the fight. I had first round Alicia Baumgardner, second round Alicia Baumgardner, then third round Mikaela Mayer, fourth round Mikaela Mayer, fifth round Mikaela Mayer, sixth round Mikaela Mayer. I just didn't see Alicia doing enough, and I will say anyway, seventh round I had it to Alicia, eighth round edged it to Mikaela, ninth round Mikaela, and then from what I saw, 10th round I had it to Mikaela as well. So I actually tweeted, I had it 97, 93 to Mikaela Mayer, and I wasn't happy about it. You saw I had the stress face on there because I wanted Alicia Baumgardner to win. I always thought that she would have the beating of her, but from what it looked like, it didn't look to me as if she was doing enough. She was pressing the action enough, and all I kept seeing was her getting hit, was her getting caught by the jab. Now, yeah, the jab may not be the most sort of the most eye-catching or effective shot in terms of distance, round control, generalship, or even just how the eye-catching stuff. Alicia probably did land a lot more of that, but I couldn't see some of what Alicia was landing. Some of it looked like it missed. It looked like she was falling short. All I saw was her getting hit with the jab and her head getting popped back. So that was how I had it scored at that time. After that, watching it on TV, obviously they announced her name. I was up, I was screaming, I was, I don't normally get out of character, but I was just so happy for Alicia, because as I've always said, she's like the true only away fighter out of all four of them. She wasn't signed to Boxer, she wasn't signed to Top Rank, she doesn't box on Sky Sports, and she doesn't box on ESPN. So she was truly the one who essentially was going to have to do more to get anything, and that's how I thought it would work, which is why I said in the previous video, which I don't even think I uploaded, but you would have seen me say in other places, if she doesn't get the knockout, she doesn't win this fight. And that's how I've truly felt. So even when I was scoring it, I'm scoring it like, okay, well, Mikaela's the home fighter, what's gonna happen here? So yeah, when I watched it back, I've watched it back 3 times now as well, but only once that I actually watch it all the way through without dozing off. So on the repeat, I had Alicia round 1, Alicia round 2, Alicia round 3, Mayer round 4, Mayer round 5, Mayer round 6, Alicia round 7, Alicia round 8, Mayer round 9, Alicia round 10. So I actually had it 97, 93 the other way, although if you wanted to give Mikaela Mayer the 8th round as well, I wouldn't complain. I would say, okay, she can have the 8th round, and it's 96, 94. I'm not sure what round the judges gave even to make it 96, 95 for her. Probably the first round, as that was the one where like neither person did a huge amount. But overall, I do think the right person won from watching it from what I saw. Like I said, the 8th round, if you tell me that I'm chatting rubbish on that, cool, it's fine. Like I said, it's been a long night, I'm tired. So if you want to give her that one, you can give her that one. But I had it 96, 94 to Alicia Baumgardner. Now I want to see the undisputed fight with Hyun Mi Choi, Eddie Hearn. Hurry up and make that happen. But big ups to the Bomb. On the undercard, Lauren Price surprisingly got a stoppage, which was very odd. I didn't really understand if it was just a case of accumulative punches, but the other girl looked like she was fighting back. But well done to her. I actually had a bet Karis Artenstall to get the TKO and Lauren Price to get the decision, and then they decided to do a role reversal. So hey, shout outs to Caroline Dubois, done an excellent job on what's her name, Koleva, the lady. I think she took what was her name, Katie Taylor. She took her the distance, I think about 10 fights about 10 fights ago, maybe 12, when she was sort of coming up through in the game. And yeah, Caroline Dubois, very spiteful. You know me, I love a southpaw. Like, the body work is great. She throws shots with mean intentions, but she doesn't load up on everything. She works well to the body and the head. Got her out of there in the 5th round. It was beautiful to watch. I've got the footage. I can't bother to upload it onto this video, I'm sorry. I might put it in another one, just as my overall I've got an idea for my 100th episode now, so I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, Kairi Sane, I only saw the last 2 rounds because that's when I actually just arrived into the arena just before 8 o'clock. On the undercard, I saw Shannon Ryan before the bell. She put in a great performance. She's definitely sort of growing into things, and Kouassi was open, which gave her chances to, you know, opportunities to work through it. Didn't quite get her out of there, but I mean, the signs are there. I can see maybe in the next round I can see her getting that. And someone said though she reminds them of like a female David Haye, and I agree, because I said the same thing similar previously. You can tell that I can always tell when someone comes from that kickboxing background, just by the way they move and their stance. But like it's gonna work for her for the divisions that she's in. Definitely big ups. Shout out to Ebony Jones. She came on after the main event, so not many people would have seen her fight, but yeah, congrats to her. April Hunter got a victory. I didn't actually see that. I was in transit when that one was going on, but I was listening to it. Sounded like she did fine. Ginny Fuchs, she was excellent. Ring IQ been telling me about her debut for the longest time, but they didn't show that in the UK previously, and I haven't been able to find any footage of it online. Her professional debut, obviously I've seen some of her amateur stuff, but never saw the professional debut. I've seen the second fight, and I definitely want to see more of her. Like, it was a great performance. And Sarah Liegman, big ups to her. I saw her at the weigh-in on Friday. You know, wished her good luck. She was like, thank you. She did well in her fight. Not, you know, she's coming along quite nicely. So yeah, big ups to her. Now, quickly running through, I haven't seen all of the Haney card, but I've seen the main event. Devin Haney came out on a mission, not necessarily to get a stoppage, but to have a much more entertaining fight. And to be honest, he probably could have got a stoppage if that cut had happened on Kambosos maybe a round and a half earlier. But Haney was using the backhand effectively. He got caught with some stuff a bit more than he usually does. I won't get into breakdowns, but Kambosos constantly switching from, you know, orthodox to southpaw, and then not even doing anything from the southpaw stance just to switch straight back to orthodox was really, really weird. I don't know if he was doing that to try and offset Devin, but there were several times he'd done it and ended up catching a straight right hand for it in transition. It was like, it made no sense. But it was a much more spirited performance. He didn't win many more rounds for me than he did in the first fight, but it was at least a lot more entertaining. Both guys got cuts. I think Haney's one was caused by a head clash, whereas Kambosos got a big cut on his face caused by a punch by Devin, and also he got this really nasty gash on the side of his head. I don't know how that one was caused, but it was just a much more entertaining fight. I need to watch it again. As I said, it was late in the morning I was watching that one. But congrats to him. I'm going to check out the rest of that card when I come back from the gym, and after I watch the Liverpool-Man City game later on. And last but not least, I haven't seen the entire PBC card, but I did see the Deontay Wilder fight live. I did manage to find a live stream because I said I weren't paying for it. And yeah, my prediction of Robert Helenius, you know, sort of making it cagey and dogged for the first couple rounds, trying to lean on Wilder and maybe getting stopped in like the 5th or the 6th, maximum 7th, that didn't come true at all, because it was another first round KO. I mean, Deontay Wilder used the ropes to his advantage, springboard off those ropes into a very straight, very short right hand on the button. Helenius knocked out cold, eyes wide shut, as they like to say, like literally motionless in the ring. And Deontay Wilder comes back with a bang. I mean, we all knew it was going to end in a knockout, but I don't think anyone envisioned it in that manner. That was probably even better than the Brazil first round KO. But those type of guys are, you know, they're bread and butter for Deontay Wilder. Just those, you know, fairly slow, tall, upright, clumbering type guys. That's his bag. But I think he was talking about Usyk in the ring. Obviously, I don't think Usyk attended, as he said he wanted to. They was talking about Joshua. They was talking about Ruiz. The commentators were saying, well, look, that's the one. Looks like it's going to be made next. We'll see what happens with that overall. But yeah, I don't particularly know. I mean, I would like to see any of those 3 fights, to be honest. But I would advise Deontay Wilder to crawl before he walks and walks before he runs. Talking about Usyk, like that's not the guy for him. Like of all the people like to fight, that's definitely the style you don't mesh well with at all. But this is a celebrationary day. So let me tell you actually the 3 fights I got wrong. And only one of them I care about, but ultimately I actually don't care about any of them because Alicia won. That's literally how I feel. That I care about nothing else because Alicia got the decision when I feared the worst for her. But yeah, so I got Tapia versus Sacco wrong from the Australia card on DAZN. I got Shields Mayer wrong. I mean Shields Marshall, sorry. Whereas I predicted Savannah Marshall to win that. And Gary Antonio Russell against Emmanuel Rodriguez. Now, I said in my video that Rodriguez is a class operator and he's a very good fighter, but he seems to never get the rub of the green on the PBC cards. And I haven't seen the fight, but from what I've heard, there was some kind of clash of heads, or there was some kind of cut, that accidental headbutt that caused a cut, and Rodriguez didn't want to continue, so they went to the cards. It was like a technical decision, but from what I heard, he was piecing up Gary Antonio Russell to begin with. I'm gonna watch it just to see for myself like how the fight was looking, or whether Gary was going to be able to get back into it. But yeah, that was an unfortunate one because that one did actually. I had 2 accumulators on. I had one outlandish one, and then I had one smart one. And the smart one, everyone won how I predicted they was going to win, or just in general, except that fight. So not the greatest, not the most happy about that, but it is what it is. That was one of those ones I took a swing and a miss, and I just based it off of previous situations that have happened with him. But look, that being said, like I said, it's probably been a long video. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, let me go off and do some other stuff. But thank you very much for watching. If you've stuck around, I appreciate it. More likes, more subscribers, more shares. I appreciate it all. That's the weekend over, and we will see where the next week takes us. It's gonna be a bit of a downer, I think. I don't think we're gonna have as much action next week, but you never know. We'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.